Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathleen. Remember, this is your only #1 online show that brings you issues to do with security, violence, terrorism, gender, women, and any other pressing issue that actually is facing the global south in a very unique way that you cannot get in another channel. For the new members, kindly hit the subscription button and touch the notification bell so that the next time I upload a video, you can be able to get an alert. Kindly check if you have subscribed. Check. Well, let's go. Now, today again, the ICJ, the International Court of Justice, yesterday offered its ruling concerning the Kenya-Somalia maritime dispute. And in this ruling, the court did not totally agree with Somalia or totally agree with Kenya. So what happened? This court decided to do this ocean a half, or the disputed place a half. Kenya gets 200 section of a half of the section of the disputed territory, and Somalia gets a half of it. But when people are looking at it broadly, they say like Kenya has lost, and Somalia has actually done what? Has welcomed the ruling. Now, if you don't understand what I'm saying, I've come with my map again. So look, good. That is how that place has been actually demarcated. Somalia has welcomed the rule. But you know what? The president of Kenya has come out to say this.
While Kenya is not surprised by the decision, it is profoundly concerned by the import of the decision and its implications for the Horn of Africa region and international law generally. At the very onset, Kenya wishes to indicate that it rejects in totality and does not recognize the findings in the decision.
The president says basically that they are not in agreement with anything that actually the International Court of Justice said. Now this raises a question. So what next? What will happen? What will Kenya do? Will Kenya continue to operate in that region as it the place it is? Will Somalia continue to operate in that region as if the place it is? It is all. How will this territory actually be governed? Kenya said it's not honoring that ruling, and Somalia says it's going to honor that ruling. So are these two countries going to sit down to have diplomatic talks? Because for me, I believe actually these two countries need to sit down and have a diplomatic approach to this particular dispute. But you know, Somalia on the other hand has been kind of assured that this is your territory in one way or another by the International Court of Justice. And I don't think it will be so much easy on its side to say now, no, let us overrule this assume this ruling and sit down as two countries and negotiate. You remember, these are two countries with a very strict stance concerning this territory. Kenya says they will not let any country to take away even an inch. So meaning Kenya is not even taking into consideration that the ICJ has given it a half of that disputed territory. Kenya wants the entire territory, and Somalia on the other hand is comfortable with that a half territory. But again, another thing comes up. What if the two countries agrees to fill test rule? For example, what if maybe Kenya says, okay, we have loosened our stand and we agree to this ruling? Are we not likely to have another Migingo in the making in the coastal part of Kenya? Because we all know the way the Migingo crisis has been between Kenya and Uganda. We have had our fishermen being killed there, or the Ugandan fishermen being killed there. Sometimes one country says it is our waters, another one said it is your waters, but the fish are ours, and so forth. Now I'm also seated here and I'm asking myself, if the two countries are going to say yes, let's agree to this ruling, how governable is that territory going to be? Are we not going to have cases where fishermen are going to be be having cases of fishermen being shot dead in the in the course of their fishing activities in the name that you have come to our territory? Are we not going to have actually malign conflict and war in that particular region? You see, I'm seated here and I'm trying to think broadly as a concerned resident, all of a concerned individual from the East Africa region. And another question that I actually asked myself now, how are the diplomatic ties between Somalia and Kenya going to be? And you know, it comes at a time, the ruling comes at a time when actually Kenya is commemorating 10 years since we sent our troops to help in the fight against Al-Shabaab in Somalia. So I'm like, okay, on the other hand, Kenya is analyzing what it has been doing for Somalia for the last 10 years. And on the other hand, Kenya is looking at Somalia as an ungrateful neighbor who is not actually giving back the same way it has given to it. And then I'm also looking at two countries with stand concerning the dispute at hand. So I'm like, already these are countries like which are more like a balloon, and like anything small is likely to rupture anything. So I'm like, how is it going to be? And how is this going to affect the diplomatic ties between these countries? Is Somalia going to close its embassies on Kenya, or is Kenya going to close its embassies on Somalia? Like, how is it going to be? Are we going to have actually any relationship? And if we cut diplomatic ties between Somalia and Kenya, what could be the economic, social, political, and security implication of these ties? And I've always said that when it comes to issues to do with our countries related to one another, I don't think that there's one country that does not need another. Somalia needs Kenya, and Kenya needs Somalia. And I'm trying to look at, for example, the biggest market of our miraa business in Kenya. Where does it go? It goes to Somalia. So I'm like, what happens to our farmers, for example, if it comes to a point where we are closing diplomatic ties on each other, closing business on each other, and so forth? And again, I'm looking at this particular one. I'm like, now, if Kenya is going to continue having this strict standard that it is our waters and we are not going to let anybody come in it, we are not going to allow the ICJ ruling take presidency of our territorial integrity and so forth, I'm like, it's not Kenya actually now having two enemies, you know, having an enemy of Al-Shabaab in Somalia, and at the same time having an enemy of Somalia itself as a country. Now imagine a situation whereby you are surrounded by enemies and you have to fight all these enemies. I'm just thinking, and I don't want to underrate the military capabilities of these two countries, but you know, when war breaks out or when countries start fighting, fragility, anarchy, and these other aspects can actually impact on the livelihood of the people and even the dignity that a country has accumulated over time. So I'm like, Kenya does not want to agree with the ICJ. Will Somalia go back again to the to the ICJ and complain, or will they decide to take it to the African Union? And I'm again asking myself, actually, where is the African Union? Why have they not spoken about this thing actually? Because by the end of the day, this conflict is not only touching on Kenya and Somalia. It is touching on so many countries. There is Somalia, there is Kenya, there is Tanzania, there is Madagascar, and there's Mozambique, and there is South Africa. You know, these are the countries that the agreement concerning the maritime disputes, border territories actually, is supposed to take a bilateral agreement. You know, we are supposed to look at the principle of proportionality, because actually if we start looking at the equidistance, by the end of the day, we will have some countries not having anything to do with the waters and just being landlocked. Do you see? So I'm like, where is the African Union? Why are they not talking about this? Why are they so silent? Why are they so silent? What's happening? And I've seen Kenya telling the international community that it should be able to respect its actions and it is stand when it comes to it is integrity. And I'm like, you know, we rejoiced when ICC released ended the cases of our president and the deputy president, and we welcomed the idea. But now when the ICJ gives its verdict on the dispute between Kenya and Somalia, and the verdict is not favoring Kenya, we see Kenya walking away from that, and it's like walking away from that international court. So, and I'm like, on the international arena, how are we Kenyans actually perceived as people who only subscribe to institutions when they favor us, and when they don't favor us, we just crush them and move forward? So I'm seated here and I'm like, no, I think a lot is happening. Is this the beginning of drama? So is Kenya going to send its troops to guard the place that has been contested? Is Somalia also going to deploy troops to guard the place that is being contested? And what could be the scenario of all this? So please keep your comments coming. Individuals of international relations and diplomacy, kindly test there. Our brothers and sisters from Somalia, what do you think? Our brothers and sisters from Kenya, what do you think? Actually, drop your comments. We need to understand this. Where are we heading to? Otherwise, keep subscribing. Remember to share this video, please. And I thank you so much for your support. You people, you are amazing. You are so amazing. Keep subscribing, keep liking, keep commenting, and let's meet next in our next video. Thank you so much.